Hello, everybody. Welcome to the second episode of Through the Mists, our Dungeons and Dragons 5e actual play. Unfortunately, Gilbert can't make it today, so the image of Umrak is filling his spot for now. Does everyone else want to do a quick introduction, since this is only our second one? And if there's something you would like to talk about, someplace on the internet that people can find you and follow you and share all of your awesome stuff? Anyone? No.
I like turtles.
No one has stuff to share today. All right. Well then, we'll jump into it. Last time, everyone had finally met up in the city of Thentia. They'd come here as to meet up as a group to enjoy the festivities of the Witchlight Carnival, which has arrived for the first time in 8 years here on the Prime Material Plane. And it is such a rare event that everyone in the group was like, we have to go to this. And so meeting up in Thentia, they had headed to their favorite local dive bar, which had mysteriously closed down. And so they were checking out a new place called the Mage Pit. Inside, they find the place is a little, I don't want to say hoity-toity, but it's definitely catering more to a magic user clientele. But it doesn't mean that the rest of them aren't able to have fun, so everyone's having a drink. They find out that there are weird contests between creations of mages in the Mage Pit. And right at the end of one of those contests, something invisible snatched Twiggy and ripped him off of his beer stein there. And as that was happening, if I remember correctly, Lyra went to try and snatch Twiggy. So let's do a dex save, Lyra.
Okay. Dex save. All right. There we go. Ooh!
So yeah, as you go to do it, your hand catches that beer mug that he was sitting on and just sends it spraying out everywhere. Like the beer goes flying everywhere. The mug tumbles off into the pit. Several mages around you are like, "Ah, my eyes, my eyes!" As beer is flung into them. And Twiggy, you find yourself suddenly like kind of held in midair over this pit as a tentacle type appendage reveals itself kind of in this weird scintillating fashion. It like the revelation of it kind of is rather than just blinking into existence, it kind of waves down this long tentacle that disappears into the darkness below you. Question for you: do you have dark vision, Twiggy?
I think Smear. I don't know actually. Do fairies have dark vision?
That's a great question.
I don't know.
I feel like they do have dark vision.
You would think so, maybe.
While you're looking that up, Lyra has just smashed this beer mug off into everything. You have like little droplets of beer falling on you, Dizzy, Lilith, and Umrak. What are you doing in response to this? Let's start with Dizzy.
Let's see. I'm just gonna kind of try to observe and see everything that's going on. See if there's any more tentacles or anything appearing.
Yeah. Go ahead and make a perception check. You won't need it for some of this stuff, but let's see what things you notice otherwise. 15. Okay, so you do notice there are other tentacles revealing themselves around the edge. These tentacles aren't just like octopus tentacles or something like that. They kind of vary. Some have little suckers on them. Some are just kind of like a fleshy kind of ropey thing. Some do have like little mouths on them and like little eyes here and there. It seems kind of random how they're appearing. But you also notice several of the mages are standing back and they're pulling out wands, and all of a sudden somebody cries out, we've got a scummer! And people upstairs like start looking over the edge, like they're on a kind of a not catwalk. Can't think of the word right now. On like an open area above you, there's like a. Well, I'm sorry. What's that?
Like a balcony?
Like a balcony, yeah, like a balcony that kind of circles around, and they were at tables on those, and they all start pulling out wands and different apparatus. Lilith, what are you doing?
Oh, Lilith ain't got no time for this shenanigans. She gets up, and her chair falls behind her and clamors because she's just huge. And she walks over to Twiggy to grab him and beat the tentacle with her mace.
Gotcha. Yeah, so of all of you, you probably have the reach to do this, whereas everyone else was kind of like, they're just a little too tiny, so you kind of lean over to grab him and swing with your mace. So do you want to grab him first, or do you want to hit the thing first?
I think I want to hit the thing first.
Okay.
As I'm like right there reaching for him in hopes that it sort of drops and I catch him.
So we're going to call this your main attack is your mace, and then you're going to kind of like, it's like an offhand action to try and grab Twiggy, but it's going to be at a -2 on a dex check. So do your attack first.
Let's see here. Did that go through?
I don't see it, but you can tell me what the number was.
Hold on. An 8.
An 8, okay. And then go ahead and do the dex check at a -2. And while she's doing that, Twiggy, what was the outcome? Do you have dark vision?
I mean, who needs dark vision when you're in the land of eternal sunshine, right?
It's true.
You know?
It's true. Yeah. So looking down,
unless you're like in the winter court, then no one
as you
does
look
that.
down into the pit, there's just darkness. There's a couple of like lights down there, but they're not really illuminating much. You just see ground. Maybe there's a couple people running around down there, but it's like dozens and dozens of feet below you. All right, I got that one. I'm going to take your first one.
Oh my god.
So
Yeah.
a 19 -2 is 17. You managed to grab him, but he's held by this thing. So you're going to need to do a contested strength check to try and pull him free.
Let's see here.
Oh, my dice are up there. That's right. I need dice.
Bear with me. Bear with me.
Fortunately, I did not roll very well, but yeah, absolutely.
Did it go
Without
through?
harming Twiggy, you managed to just like pull, and the like slimy little tentacle had a couple of octopus suckers on it, but they weren't like really glomming onto Twiggy very well. You managed to pull him free, and the tentacle just kind of waves in front of you. Twiggy.
All this trouble.
So noticing that, and you are now held by Lilith, what do you want to do?
My beer! He's gonna be reaching out towards his like beer that's been splashed to the winds.
Yeah.
I mean, the tentacles are problematic, but the most important thing is the beer has been spilled. Man, he's mad.
You notice just a few fine droplets like still falling at this point, but for the most part it is either on someone or has fallen into the pit, and your mug went flying past you as Lyra knocked it into the pit. So
Did we have to relinquish our weapons when we came into this bar?
you didn't.
Excellent. I rage. And
Well, I'm gonna take Twiggy and kind of like push him toward Lyra. It's like I had nothing to do with the beer.
Gotcha.
Ugh.
And Twiggy can fly, so you just kind of like let him go.
yeah,
Okay.
all
All right. So Twiggy rages. Does that
3.
mean we're gonna enter into the fray?
Oh yeah.
Why don't we go
as
ahead
well
and
as
roll
the-
initiative then?
Yeah.
So everyone go ahead and roll initiative. Remember to click on your token in Roll20 first, otherwise it doesn't auto-populate. But even if you don't, that is okay, because I can do so. I'll add
Out of
Twiggy
character. Wherever I've ever played Lyra,
Nice.
in whatever setting, in whatever game, she is notorious for having bad dice luck, and it looks like it's staying that way
Staying
right now.
there. Totally understandable.
Way to be, Lyra. Way to be.
Oh, I did not click on my token when I did that.
If you could go ahead and re-roll. Why is it not adding?
Pourquoi?
Go ahead and re-roll it so that I can put you in there, and then I'll put your initiative as it correctly was. Oh, let's roll some initiative for Umrak too, as he's standing there. Oop, need to bring him over with you guys. But initiative. Umrak with a 3. Okay. So, Lilith and Dizzy, who wants to go first?
Ooh, I don't know. I'll go first. That's all right. Unless you really want to.
I can go second. I'm fine with that.
Okay. Lilith, what do you do?
Oh man. Well, so all these tentacles are coming out. Are they trying to grab anybody else, or are they just looming? They're just looming out.
You notice a lot of them are just kind of writhing up and kind of searching almost blindly. But the ones that you see that are kind of heading towards somebody or maybe have roped around somebody's waist or arm, those ones have eyes on their stalks. So the other ones probably are blind and therefore just kind of like grabbing at whatever they feel. Some tables have been grabbed. Several drinks have like gotten grabbed or smashed to the floor as it has like waved random blind tentacles around. But it seems like it kind of covers the walls of the entire thing. You can't see where the main mass of it is.
And can I see if there's any like mages or wizards like doing anything weird in the corners, like creating this?
Gotcha.
but,
Yeah,
like,
go ahead and make a perception check.
Let's see.
Four. Okay, so with that, you're going to notice there are several mages that have stepped back and they're like casting spells at it. You see some fire bolts flashing across. You see a couple of magic missiles, which are pretty obvious as far as what the spell is, because they're like bolts of light that shoot out and always hit their targets. Some other weird effects, some green flames are erupting on some of them. One of the fellows across the pit from you has a sword that's lit in green flame. But you don't see anything as far as anyone controlling it or fighting the mages that seem to be stopping it.
Gotcha. Okay. Well, is there like a tentacle that seems the most ominous, the biggest and the most ominous?
They all
Like
look
the big
pretty similar from where you are.
Well, I'm going to guiding bolt a tentacle that's not so close to somebody to cause them damage, but that's what I would like to do.
Gotcha.
Um,
Fair enough. Go ahead and make an attack.
let's see here. Oops. I'm hitting buttons. I don't know if they're going through. I don't know.
Yep, it went through. A 10 actually does hit it. So go ahead and
Okay.
roll your damage for that.
This D&D Beyond is beyond. I got used to the other one. All right, hold on. All right. 4d6. That got
For
through.
12 points, and the next attack on it has advantage. Are you shooting one of the closer tentacles or one of the ones further away?
Let's say a closer one.
Okay. Anything else, Lilith?
Lilith doesn't have time for this shenanigans.
No one's got time for this.
No one's got time for this.
Okay.
That's it. That's it.
All right, so Dizzy, you notice that a bolt of light streaks out from Lilith, strikes a close by tentacle, which then kind of illuminates. Having fought with Lilith before, like on her side, not with her or against her, you know that this will imbue the ability for you to have an easier time of hitting that tentacle. Do you want to do anything with that tentacle, or what else do you have in mind?
I'm gonna swing at it with my rapier.
Okay. So you have advantage on this attack. And as you're like slicing towards it, you do notice, oh yeah, that totally hits. As you're slicing towards it, you notice it's kind of smoking a little from the holy light that Lilith sent at it, and you just chop that tentacle off at the point that you can reach it. There's like a stub below it that retracts into the darkness, but that one is gone. Anything else?
I think that for my bonus action, I will give Twiggy Bardic Inspiration.
Nice.
Ooh.
All right.
Super inspired.
Speaking of being inspired, it's Twiggy's turn.
Twiggy is pissed. He is going to fly into a rage. His little fairy body is just kind of vibrating with color, like a pinball machine. Draws his little rapier, bellows out, "Firebolt!" And another pixie appears, like next to one of the tentacles, and he flies at another one. It's gonna foam at the mouth and attack it with his rapier.
Okay.
Do the thing.
What does the
Did you
other
roll?
pixie do?
Oh, at the end of the turn it'll explode.
Nice. Remind me what kind of barbarian you are.
Wild magic.
Wild magic.
He's the greatest wizard ever to walk the earth. His magic's a little bit fucked up right now, but he'll figure it out.
As you get closer, you go to take your swing, and you're so angry, and you glance up at the other pixie, who seems to be like picking its ear or something, and it just makes you so angry that when you swing, you miss.
Yeah.
Anything
Bummer.
else?
Well, at the end of the turn, let's see here. Each creature within 5 feet of that intangible spirit that appears to be a pixie must make a dex saving throw.
It fails?
It fails.
I'm not even
It'll
going to
take
ask for your DC because I rolled that well.
It's going to take D6. It's going to take 1 point of force damage. Oh, so efficient.
You notice a little glob of it flicks off.
Ah!
All right, so that brings us to Lyra. Lyra. Shh. Shh. I caught myself.
Okay, so these tentacles are like coming up from the pit, and people are like jeering down below and like all this stuff. Can Lyra, is she close enough to see like the source of these like like to see like where these might be coming from?
Yeah, so you have dark vision, correct?
Yes.
And yours goes for 60 feet?
Yes. She also has eye for detail. So she can use a bonus action to make a perception check to spot a hidden creature or object, or to make an investigation check to uncover clues.
Gotcha. I'm not going to have you do that because it eats up a bonus, and this is actually pretty obvious to those who can see down into the dark. There is essentially a mass that is crawling up the walls. Now, it does seem like most of the mass is actually kind of about halfway between you and the other side, like it's on your left. So like the mass is kind of climbing up, but its tentacles are reaching all the way out. Some are longer than others. It's almost like it can just morph itself to be whatever shape or length it needs to be, but it does look like there is a mass that is climbing up.
Okay. She is Does it look like this thing has like gone rogue, or like, because like they just watched like two mages like pit creatures against each other.
Right.
Like,
you did hear somebody yell that there was a scummer.
Yeah.
You could do a Arcana check or maybe a History check.
they're both the same bonus for her. So.
Okay, yeah, go ahead and roll that.
Okay, yeah, because she's a very calculated fighter. She doesn't like barge in like Lilith and Twiggy do. she's taking a minute to like assess. You know.
So you're the one who does have time for that. Gotcha.
Yeah, yeah. She does have time for that. Exactly. So she's gonna like assess what's going on.
All right, so you can't really tell whether or not this thing has gone rogue or escaped or what its like purpose is.
Okay.
But you kind of get the feeling from those around you that this has happened before. Like a lot of people were just kind of like, "Oh, okay, let's start shooting it with their wands and stuff."
All right. All right.
So yeah, it's more of a assessing the situation around you than really being able to determine this thing's plan.
Okay. I think that uses up her action, so that's kind of where she's at right now.
Gotcha. Okay. That brings us to Umrak. Let me just double check something real quick. He peers over the edge. I know he can see in the dark. I don't think he has... Okay, so he has dark vision. So he peers over and his eyes kind of glow a little brighter. And he is going to hurl an Eldritch Blast. Maybe. There it is. So he looks down and he like eyes one of the stalks that are kind of coming towards your side of things, and a bolt of energy. It's kind of a blue lightning arcs down and just hits the wall next to it as it moves out of the way. He says something foul in Dwarvish. As he's doing that, a tentacle is going to kind of reach up towards him, and another is going to move up towards Lyra, who's also taking a peek over the edge there. Lyra, does a 17 hit you?
Yeah.
All right, you are grappled, and make a strength check.
Of course it's a strength check. Of course it is. Just a check, not a save?
Sorry, strength saves. Save is great.
Okay. Of course it is.
Oh,
great. Great.
So maybe he's empowered by his curse that he let loose with just a moment ago. But Umrak manages to dodge out of the way of the tentacle that went to grab him. However, Lyra gets just wrapped up in this one. It seems like it just elongates to like make up and wrap around her. One of your arms is like pinned to the side and it just lifts you up and over. You're now hanging. You feel like you're about 60 feet from the bottom because you can just kind of make out the motion of people running around down there as you're like kind of hovering out in the air. And you notice there are a couple other people that are like also in the same situation you are, kind of hanging out over the edge, and they're like hacking at the limbs and such. What do you do, Lilith?
Well, so I guess the question is, did Lyra tell everybody that there's a blob, like a center blob, that maybe all these are attached to?
I want to say yes, but she probably wouldn't have.
Okay. Lilith wants to guiding bolt again.
Okay.
In an area that's targeting the tentacle that Lyra is entwined in.
Gotcha.
But probably a little further down. Yeah.
Okay.
I think that's what Lilith is looking to do. She wants to help out, for sure.
Oh, weird. So I realized last time that your first roll was actually your damage roll.
Yeah, bear with me.
I'm just gonna open your
I'm
sheet
like,
real
I'm
quick.
hitting the D20, but it's not working in that one, so let me try this one. Does that work?
That'll work. Funny, it's the same number. And then we'll take the 19 damage from the other one.
Okay.
So yeah, Lyra, you feel the tentacle that is holding you shudder, and like the kind of weird dark purplish of it lights up. It's glowing slightly. Again, you all know that this means that attacking that tentacle, and Lyra, you notice it like travels down and kind of meets the base of the tentacle that you're on.
Okay.
You have whoever attacks that one next has advantage.
Okay.
Anything else, Lilith?
I think that's it. I think that's all I can do.
All right, Dizzy.
Alright, I think I am going to run up and attack that tentacle. The glowing one.
Okay.
But I think Dizzy is going to jump from a table and do like an aerial slash on it.
Nice. So I'm going to have you do your attack first, and then you're going to do a dex save to see what happens when you land.
Okay.
Nice attack. And then go ahead and do your dex save. Beautiful. All right, so Dizzy runs up, jumps off the table, slashes at this thing, and then like reaches back and grabs like a tablecloth that's attached to another table, and it manages, like, as he's swinging around and back up onto the thing, it was like on the table enough for that resistance to pull you back around. It's like those magicians that pull the tablecloth off and leave everything standing. It's like such a beautiful trick, and you land, and some people actually just stop and look at you, and one even starts like clapping. That was awesome. Anything else?
I don't think so.
Okay, that brings us to Twiggy. So you're out there hovering. Oh, there was an important part of that. Lyra, so that attack severed the, like there's a splort noise below you,
Right.
and you suddenly feel yourself falling.
Great.
Oh no!
Twiggy, what are you doing?
Do I see Lyra go down?
You're not really facing that direction, but let's do a perception
Okay.
check to see if you are like wildly looking around to notice.
Lyra
Oh,
also
nice.
probably like yell, not yell, but just like.
He's
Heroically
he's not
yelps,
Heroically yelps.
right? I'm gonna go no. You don't notice Lyra falling. You
Fair enough.
you probably in the back of your mind heard her yell "fuck," but
Yeah.
other
Normal.
than that,
That's normal. That's
Yeah,
that's
it's pretty normal.
Yeah. It's usually because something's up. Yeah, I'm gonna as a bonus action point at another tentacle and scream out magic missile, and another pixie appears.
okay.
And go charging again at this tentacle that I missed the last time, because I totally forgot I had bardic inspiration. Let's see here. Super mad actions. Rapier. Yuck.
That will absolutely hit.
Yeah, that's much better. And then if I click it, does it do the damage? Yes, it does.
Nice. All right,
8.
so you stick your rapier in it, and you kind of twirl it around in there, and like a bunch of purple goo goes flying out. Is there anything else that you're
Dex save on the other tentacle.
okay? Same number as last time.
Perfect. That shouldn't have been 2. It should just be 1. So it'd be 4 points of force.
Okay.
Dexterity. Yep.
So with the damage from last time, and then your attacks this time is enough. There's like a splort, and the area that you attack, the top of it falls off and hurls towards the ground.
I'm filled with power! Ah! Foam at the mouth. Yeah.
Anything else?
No, just blinking like a Christmas light. Bang, 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 bang.
Okay. So Lyra, as you're like being suspended in the air by this tentacle, all of a sudden it like falls off. Well, it gets like severed, and you feel it go slack. It's still wrapped around you, although you could pull your arm out. And all of a sudden, like, you're hanging there for like almost a comical long moment, and then you begin to plunge.
Yeah.
Dizzy, you notice this, but you don't notice that anyone around you seems concerned about it. Lyra, as you fall to the ground, it's rushing up towards you, and then you just softly like land.
Okay.
What do you do?
So, I mean, in that like comical moment that she's like hovering, she's probably like squirming, right?
Yeah.
Like,
Get this off me!
Yeah. And she probably looks like she was preparing to maybe try to catch herself from a 60-foot jump. You know, maybe.
Right.
Whether that she would have been able to or not. But, you know, she was prepping, like, just like, ah, shit.
I've got this!
Yeah. But she lands softly, and she just kind of, like, you know, she probably still lands with, like, a soft, like, oomph, right? Like, and she just kind of, like, looks around, and she's, like, really confused. But she's not going to question it right now.
You also notice there's like bits of the thing that have been chopped off. For example, the piece that Twiggy just chopped off also were falling, and then all of a sudden it's just like beep, and just softly lands. You get the idea that there's some. It's pretty obvious that there's some kind of magic that keeps people from falling to their deaths, which makes sense because can you imagine the insurance that they would have to pay on this place if there wasn't some kind of, you know, fail safe? So yeah, you're at the bottom. You have your full turn. The fall was free action.
Free action to fall to your death.
Yeah.
How close is she to the blob on the wall? Like, is the blob like halfway up the wall? I know.
It's large enough that yes, it is halfway up the wall, but it is also close enough for you to hit. It's kind of the bottom of it is just now kind of starting to slough off the floor up onto the wall.
Okay. She's going to kind of make a dash towards it.
Okay.
But not an actual dash because her movement's 35 feet. I'm assuming that's enough. Is it enough?
Yeah, absolutely.
Okay. So she doesn't actually have to dash. She's just going to move towards it. And she's going to take one of her daggers and just kind of like dab near like as close to the center of its mass as she can kind of get.
Gotcha.
Right? So she's going to do that, and then she does not have sneak attack, right? No, she doesn't.
She does not.
Because she doesn't have any other.
Right.
Yes. Okay. Can she take her bonus action, though? Because she has insightful fighting.
Yeah, absolutely.
Okay. So that's an insight check against the target's deception. So I do the insight, you do the deception.
You need to get better than a 4.
Got a 9. I'm telling you, she has notorious.
To be fair, you still made it, so that's good.
Okay, so she can use her sneak attack.
Gotcha.
So that was her bonus action. So she's going to use one of her daggers to hit it. If it hits, obviously she'll get her sneak attack.
Nice. Crit. So
okay.
You also are going to roll all of your sneak attack damage twice. So
okay, so it's going to be 2d4 plus 3 plus 4d6.
That sounds right.
Okay. it didn't automatically trigger because usually on D&D Beyond it triggers like the crit damage for the weapon, but it didn't.
Weird.
And I don't know why. So I'm just gonna hit the button twice. Is that okay?
There we go.
Oh, okay. You did it. All right.
That's weird, but good to know.
Wait, I didn't do that. Did you do that?
I did do that. Yeah, I was
Okay.
wondering if you pushed the button, if it worked.
How did you do that?
So I had to click the dagger button underneath the 25.
Oh,
I don't know
see
why
that.
it does that. It definitely inputs differently from D&D Beyond than its own stuff.
Yeah.
So that is.
That doesn't seem right though.
Yeah, it's missing a D4. So go ahead and roll a D4 and 2D6 for me. We're gonna add that to all of this.
Okay. D4. I don't know if this is gonna push, but we'll find out. I don't think it did. The additional D4 was a 2.
Okay.
And then 2D6 is gonna be 3 total.
Okay, awesome. So yeah, you like run up, and as you run up, this eye opens up in it, and you're like, "Ooh, perfect!" And you just jam it right in the eye, and kind of squiggly your weapon around. You have a dagger, right? So it isn't just like you poke it; you just like ram it up in there, and this like gore kind of spurts out everywhere, and you're like, "Yes, that's what I want to see."
Great. Great.
It shudders, and you hear some shrieking noises from the random mouths that are like interspersed across its mass. And those shrieks are actually overcome by one that sounds kind of like, you know what a train sounds like as it gets closer to you. So there's this shrieking noise, like kind of high-pitched, like a high-pitched yell, that just seems to be getting closer. And you glance up, and everyone looks over, and this halfling is falling from like the 3rd level down through the open space, disappears like through the top of the pit. There's like lightning arcing behind him. Now, let's see if he actually hits it. Oh, and he just like so he's like, rah! And Lyra, you notice there's these 2 daggers in his hands, and they're both like charged with lightning, and he's just like so ferociously like falling towards the mass of this thing, and he just like falls flat on the ground next to you. Like he kind of hovers there for a moment, and then lands. He stands up, dusts himself off, and glares at the thing in front of him. Umrak, looking down, sees where Lyra is and is going to also send an Eldritch Blast that direction. A 19 will hit it. So a large chunk kind of sprays, like vaporizes as this force hits it. Lyra, you're wearing part of this by now.
Oh yeah.
And
She doesn't look terribly bothered by it, but she just kind of like wipes it like out of her face. I'm just like, all right.
Totally fair.
Yeah. It's like, all right.
All right, so Lyra, a couple of tentacles are gonna erupt out of it to take a swing at you.
Great.
I'm assuming a 9 will miss.
Yes.
And a 13?
Misses as well.
Okay. And at the halfling next to you, rolled the same thing that the halfling did. That brings us to Lilith. You notice there are like tentacles writhing around near you, but you've kind of your group has chopped off most of the stuff that was growing up right next to you. So you either have to move to attack something else, or get down into the pit somehow if you want to hit something physically, or you can continue shooting.
I'm gonna continue shooting bolts. Do
Okay.
I have an awareness of where that mass is?
It's
Do I have
definitely like rising up into your line of sight, yes.
Okay. All right. So I'm gonna go ahead and try and hit that mass.
Sure. That's going to miss, however. Although,
Yeah.
so your bonus isn't worked into that, and I think your bonus is enough to make it hit. Let me double check.
Was it 2?
Oh, it is not, because your
It's
spell
not.
attack bonus is 2.
Okay.
So it hits the wall next to it, but not quite. Doesn't quite hit it.
Damn.
The brick that it hits glows slightly. If
That's
anyone
gonna
wants.
call it.
Okay. All right, Dizzy, what do you do?
I think I'm gonna run and jump into the pit, but
Okay.
try to land on the writhing mass.
Fair enough. Why don't you do let's do an acrobatics to land on. I'm going to call that enough because its AC is 10. So you run
Okay.
and jump off, and you don't feel that like catching force that Lyra did to like stop her fall because it's
Nope.
like lower. But because this thing is such a spongy mass, you just kind of like sink into it, and then it like rises back up, and you're like, whoa,
Like a waterbed.
like a waterbed.
Ew. A really gross waterbed.
Right? Do you want to do anything else, Dizzy?
Would I be able to do anything else?
You could absolutely poke it with your rapier or do another kind of attack action.
Oh yeah, I'll poke it with my rapier.
Sure. Nice. You're standing on top of it. It's super easy. You just jab down. It deflates part of the way. Seems like it's
Ew.
getting weaker as between you and all of the rest of the people that are attacking it. You don't slip off, but you realize it kind of like deflates a bit and is probably getting closer to being vanquished. You are still about 30 feet up from the floor, Dizzy, just so you know.
Okay.
And that'll bring us to Twiggy.
Right. Still blinking like a rave light show. Frothing at the mouth, extends an arm, palm outstretched, and he screams out, "Fireball!" And a flump appears. Next to, I guess, this mass, right?
Right.
Yeah, because the mass is now starting to kind of reach over the edge.
I know it's about halfway. The top of it is just over halfway up the wall.
Oh, okay, so I don't see that still yet, so I'm just going to fireball.
You can, yeah. It's within your
Okay.
light. Yes.
Perfect. All right, yeah. So I will attempt to cast fireball as a bonus action, and a flump will appear. Twiggy is super mad about this, and then we'll charge with his rapier
Okay.
at the mass. Dive bomb that thing, and we're gonna go rapier. Boop.
Aw.
Oops.
That'll absolutely hit.
Yeah. And it does 8 points piercing. That includes the rage damage. So I'm treating these as a strength weapon. And yeah, dex save.
Okay. I'm assuming you didn't put the flump near any of your friends.
Right. Yeah. I mean, it's a 5 foot. It's a 5 foot radius.
Okay.
So I mean, in his mind, it's a 30-foot radius, but or 20-foot radius, for some reason, it's just not working.
Just doesn't, yeah.
It's just not working.
All right, roll your damage.
All right, roll that d6. 2 points of force. Take that.
Dizzy, as Twiggy hits this and this flump explodes, a little bit of it kind of goes flying past you. Anything else there, Twiggy?
Ah!
Fair enough. Lyra.
Ball of rage.
Raging!
Lyra, what do you do?
Well, I mean, this like yelping, screeching, screaming like halfling like kind of landed next to her, and she just kind of like, kind of covered in this sticky, goopy, and she's just like, I don't care.
He's looking at you. He's like, that was supposed to be far more epic than it was.
She's kind of like, right. You helping? And she just like doesn't wait for an answer. She doesn't wait for an answer.
Yeah.
She's just like, be more useful.
Fair enough.
Now she doesn't have the time. She's over it. She's so over it.
It's lasted a while.
Right.
Over it.
She's covered in goop. She's over it. However, she does now have a few allies nearby. So
yeah,
that's
I would
good.
count. So because Dizzy is on it, Twiggy is like engaged with it. We'll call that yeah.
Yeah.
You can get sneak
So
attack from that.
she I also forgot she does have 2-weapon fighting. So
Oh, nice.
forgot about that. So she's just gonna kind of like, you know, she's gonna stab and slash, like kind of like stab and slash with both daggers,
Sure.
right? So we'll roll for 1 dagger. E.
8 is gonna miss.
Yeah. We'll roll for the other dagger.
That'll hit.
Okay. I'm gonna hit the dagger button and see what happens. Ooh, okay.
Nice.
Here we go. So 15 total.
All
piercing
right.
damage?
So you stabbed with your first one, you slashed across with your second one. For whatever reason, like the mass of it just was like not giving to your dagger. Like you didn't necessarily miss it. It just kind of like went boo and didn't do any damage. But as you slash across with your next one, there's definitely like a as gunk just sprays out. Dizzy, there's like a noticeable give to the adherence that it has to the wall, and it is slowly starting to like peel away. Anything else, Lyra?
No. She'll hang out.
All
Yeah.
right.
She does give like the halfling like a look, like a very like type of look.
He glares back at you and he runs up and he slashes at it twice. The first one barely scores the skin of this thing, like its hide, but there's like this trail of lightning that scorches it along the way. But the second attack that he gives with the other dagger definitely hits deeper. The whole thing kind of convulses in the area that you are, because it's so massive. Like it doesn't shake the whole thing, but the area you're in kind of like convulses out in this wave. More of it detaches from the wall. Dizzy. Umrak is going to go ahead and shoot it again, because why not? Excellent. His kind of lightning colored bolt smashes into it below Dizzy but above the rest of you, and that brings us to Lilith's turn.
We're gonna try a guiding bolt again.
Okay.
See how that works. Let's see. Try to hit it.
Definitely hits.
Awesome. Yeah, some damage.
Oh, it actually rolled your attack the first on this one. That's weird. So you got a 21 to hit, and you're gonna do 19 radiant.
Awesome.
Nice.
Just
Weird.
this very large portion of it begins to glow, but also like withers and kind of sucks into itself. Dizzy, what do you do?
I think I'm gonna do Dissonant Whispers.
Okay. So it needs to do a wisdom save?
Yes.
14.
Oh, well, it passed the save.
Gotcha. But it still takes damage, yeah?
Half damage.
There it is. So you cast this, and it hears in its mind these weird noises. It kind of pulls into itself and detaches from the wall. Dizzy, go ahead and make a dex save.
Uh-oh.
Nice. So you kind of like, knowing it was coming, you like let yourself fall out away from it, and it's like so graceful the way that Dizzy comes down and just is like standing there. I don't know how you want to land, but knowing that you're going to land instead of crash into the ground, how do you come down?
Kind of into like a kneel.
Superhero landing.
Yeah, pretty much.
Nice. All right. Twiggy, make a dex save for me.
Ooh, dex saves. Why is this not doing the thing? There we go. Oh, is there like a dex save? This is not a trap, right? This is actually its little tentacles doing tentacly stuff.
You're trying to dodge out of the way of this thing's body that is falling over you. Ooh. So you look up, you realize it's falling, and so you go to move out of the way.
Use my bardic
yes.
inspiration.
Oh, yes.
Yes, that's what I was saving it for, just in case. 9.
Not enough. So
Curses!
you go to dodge out of the way, and it just like hits you, and the area that you just like stabbed into, you're just like into it as it falls to the ground. It gets caught by the magic that doesn't allow things to hit the ground and splat. Lyra, go ahead and make a dex save.
Okay. Dex save. All right.
Nice. Yeah, seeing it coming, you just jump out of the way. Oh, sorry. I have a halfling to think about as well. So Lyra, you jump out of the way, and as you jump out of the way, you look over, and he's just standing there, like, stabbing it. Like, it's not even, like, moving anymore. He's just stabbing it, and then he looks up, he's like, fuck. And we will go out of initiative. What does everyone do?
Shocking grasp!
Shakes my head in disgust.
Lilith is still up top, right?
She is, yep.
Yep.
Lilith, you essentially see like the mask that has started showing up peel away. Dizzy jumps off of it. It falls. Dizzy goes down with it. You're not really sure because you can't see the bottom. But all of the tentacles like either drop and they get drug into it, into the pit, or they just like fall back into the pit.
I'll walk over and look into the pit to everybody and shake my head, and then turn around and go grab a beer.
Fair enough. Dizzy, what are you doing?
I think I'm going to probably clean myself off because I imagine that I've got goo and stuff on me.
Yeah. You're definitely not as gooped up as Lyra is, but you were standing on it, so there was definitely enough, and there was like explosions, and so kind of sent some at you. And Twiggy, you're not taking any damage, but you're like inside this thing's corpse.
Oh yeah, pissed. Bonus action. Gonna summon myself probably a 3-headed unicorn, and it will also explode, propelling me out of the tentacle. I don't mind if I take some damage. That's fine. Super mad ball of light, and I guess I can't really see much down here because I don't have dark vision. But there's light up there, and there's beer.
Yeah.
I don't hear any screaming anymore. I'm gonna take a deep breath, and as I make my way back up to the top, I'm gonna try and get myself out of this like angry mindset. The magic will work next time. I'm gonna find the nearest tankard. I'm gonna dunk myself in there to clean myself off.
So you fly up, you look around, and there's like a couple of the tables that are further away from the edge, and the railing there are like, you know, they didn't get hit by these tentacles, and so there's some drinks sitting on it. And as this like elf reaches for what is probably as you like submerge yourself in it, you get this like heady scent of apples that have fermented. There's some kind of spice in it too. It's not just like plain apple cider. It would have tasted very good as you like wash yourself off. Lilith, you can see the elf just like staring into the mug with disgust.
I can already tell I like this elf.
And Lyra, what are you doing?
Lyra is just kind of like down in the pit, and like, you know how like when you have like mud on you and you're trying to like scrape it off, you're like almost squeegeeing your skin. She's just like yeah. And you know, she kind of just like grabs her hair and like wrings it out, type of like grossness, like tosses it up out of her face. And she looks like not pleased, but she looks to Dizzy, who's down there with her.
Yeah.
And it's like, let's get out of here.
I feel it's kind of like the original Ghostbusters, where, you know, they're all covered in goop, and then Venkman just has like a little bit, and so Dizzy's just like standing there like removing that little bit of goop off of themselves, and Lyra's just like
yeah, she's just like squeegeeing goop off of her. And she looks at Dizzy and she's like, let's get out of here. And is there like an obvious way for them to like get out?
You do see some like archways that don't have doors that you can see that lead off. They're dark, so you're not really sure where they go. But looking around, there are a couple of... Let me make sure I have this right. There's some like shorter dwarf-shaped figures. And you both have dark vision, so it's easy to tell. They look almost identical. They're like wearing different clothes, but otherwise they just could be the same person. And they're like moving tentacles out of the way, and they're like calming those creatures that had been doing the dance off earlier.
Right. Lyra will, after looking at Dizzy and being like, well, let's get out of here, she's gonna walk up to those dwarf creatures, and the look on her face is like, not amused over it. Like, don't try me type of like look on her face. And she just goes, which way's out?
One of them looks up at you while petting the zebra creature, and just points at one of the archways.
Cool.
And then goes
she
back.
just like, she nods and like stalks off, like just like, okay.
And they go back to like petting the zebra. Dizzy, what are you doing?
I'm gonna follow Lyra out.
Okay. Yeah, as you walk by, one of them is petting the zebra, the other one's trying to calm down the weird squirrel creature with the terrible, terrible maw of teeth. And you head into this like darkened archway. You notice that there are runes over it. They don't do anything as you pass through, and you notice that there's a staircase that leads off kind of behind the establishment. Like if you were to think about where the front of the establishment is, it goes away from that. It'll lead you up to the top, and then you have to like take this hallway out to come back into the main room.
Cool. Lyra is doing that, and she's like making sure Dizzy's like following her, but she's also not quite waiting up. Like it's kind of one of those like, she's following, okay great, she's following, okay great. Like, let's go. And when she gets up there, she looks at Lilith, grabs the beer from Lilith's hand, just like takes it out of Lilith's hand, is like, touch.
So, I mean, Lilith is a big, strong woman, so I feel like if Lilith wants to stop you from this, we should do a contested check.
Yep.
Yep. So let's do a strength check. Athletics, if you're proficient in it.
See here.
Lyra is proficient in athletics.
Oh, so close. So you grab it. Lyra grabs it, and Lilith, you're just like, no, this is my beer. And there's that moment of where you're tugging between them, and finally Lyra's just like,
Pretty much, like the look on Lyra's face is like, "Are you kidding me?"
and there's just like, even though she squeegeed off, Lyra's still covered in goop. Like, squeezing hair out, there's still like, it's just like, shampoo. If you just like squeeze the shampoo out, it's still shampoo. So there's still goop in Lyra's hair.
Yeah. But as Lyra's drinking, she like flags for another one for Lilith, like kind of like, "Okay, fine, just wasn't gonna wait."
That's nice of you, I guess. All right, so as everyone comes back together, Umrak comes over and like reaches into this mug and picks Twiggy up and like pushes the mug back to the elf and apologizes, and then walks over and also waves for some more drinks to be brought.
Capital idea.
Well, that was eventful.
God.
And Umrak sets you back down on the table.
This is why dive bars are better.
Way more fun, yeah?
As the bartender brings over a large platter of drinks and sets one down for each of you, he says, "That round is on the house. Thank you for all your help." And he goes off, and you hear him, "This one's on the house. This one's on the house," as he's just like handing out drinks.
Does this happen often?
The elf looks over and is like, "More often than you'd think, but not often enough to get the place closed down."
Of course. Oh my god.
Weird.
Yeah, super weird.
I mean, they haven't lost a patron yet, so that's good. And only one has been sent to the medic, so...
Big stuff.
We should figure out what we need to do, I think.
Okay.
I'm not drunk enough.
Neither am I.
I'm not
Let's
really-
commence
am
with fixing that.
Just like echoing sounds of agreement, just like
Yeah,
follow
yeah.
Lilith's statement.
not drunk enough for this.
So Umrak raises his mug and toasts to everyone coming back together.
Huzzah.
Is everyone just hanging out for the evening? Is that kind of the plan?
Yeah.
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah, that sounds good.
So everyone catches up over the next couple of hours, and sooner or later, Umrak is just like, I've been walking all day, so I'm gonna cash out and go sleep for the night. But tomorrow we should, meet up, and I believe I think the carnival opens at dusk. Is that what you all remember?
Yeah.
It.
Let's check it out.
Sure.
If I don't see you before then we'll meet up, around then. Does that sound good?
Yeah. Yeah.
Yep.
Pew pew.
Finger.
Be sure to wear a
blast.
fancy hat when you come.
Oh, a fancy hat. Why?
Because everyone wears a fancy hat to the carnival. It's important, you see. It's
I will have to go
tradition.
shopping. I don't have a fancy hat. I will go shopping tomorrow for a fancy hat.
Excellent.
All right, so he waves goodnight and heads off, and everyone else drinks until they stop, and the night passes. The next day, is anyone doing anything?
Well, remind me, we're okay. Carnival Should we check out the carnival before it opens?
So you remember that the carnival wasn't there, and then it was there like almost instantaneously
Right, before it opens.
before it opened, right? So
Okay.
just from your memory of the last time, it would be difficult to do so.
Great.
Feywild stuff. You can't really predict it.
But you can always check.
Yeah, I do want to go check that out just to see if there are any paths. I think they're called path. What are they called? The routes.
Yeah, the
into
ones that go
and
to the
from.
Feywild. Is that what you're looking
Yeah.
for? Gotcha.
See if there's anything natural there that may be a one-way, two-way sort of thing.
Gotcha. Yeah, you don't
Wouldn't
remember
hurt.
there ever being one there from your previous journeys here, but you do remember coming through one that travels with the Witchlight Carnival. That's how you got here last time, and met all of your friends here. So, is anyone when you all wake? Are you all getting back together, or are you kind of doing your own things for the day? What's your plan?
I mean, I'd like to check it out, so I would like to go with Twiggy.
Okay.
And I got to stick with these people because, I mean, me being alone makes me a bigger target for the seagulls.
Yep.
Yeah,
And I'm
yeah,
quite a
yep.
bit taller than you are, so I would imagine that there's kind of a good feeling of that with a tall person.
Yeah.
Fair enough. Dizzy, what's your plan for today?
I think I'll tag along too.
Okay.
But I'll be looking out for I guess people to possibly pickpocket along the way.
Gotcha. And Lyra.
This is why Lyra likes Dizzy. Lyra will tag along, but she probably like slept in a little bit, not super late to make her late, but she'll tag along. But she like slept in a little bit, like she kind of like rolls up at the last minute,
Gotcha.
type of thing.
Did you wash the out of your clothes and hair and all of that?
She took a bath for like 7 hours last night. Like she
She
didn't
just slept in
sleep,
the tub.
she just bathed for hours.
Okay. All right. So as everyone meets up and starts heading through, why don't we go ahead and do a couple sleight of hand checks for Dizzy and Lyra?
Okay. Dun, 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 dun. Ooh, not great. Not great.
How many do you want us to do?
Yeah.
Let's do one more for each of you.
Okay.
And that first one that you did there, Lyra, wasn't enough to get caught, but you don't manage to snag anything.
Okay.
However, both the Dizzy's and your second one, you managed to lift something from somebody's pockets. Go ahead and roll, Dizzy, roll a d20 twice, so I need two separate numbers, and Lyra roll 1.
Okay. Where are the dice? Where are the dice? Where are the dice?
Nice. Okay.
Ooh.
All right. So, Dizzy, your first one is actually an object that you managed to lift. It's like in this person's like little satchel on their side. We will roll that randomly in just a moment. Lyra, your other one, your roll also is going to be an object, and then Dizzy, your second one is a little money pouch.
Okay.
With 102 gold in it.
Ooh.
Yeah, you definitely kept your eye out for that mark, and you're just like, oh. This fellow looks like he needs to lose that money pouch, and you were right. He was carrying a decent amount on him.
Okay.
No one saw you, and let's I don't want to hold it up too much. Let me look something up real quick. Rarity common. Okay. So Dizzy, you're not sure why it was in this pouch, but you pull out this little filigree of metal, and you're not quite sure what it is at first, and then you realize it's kind of shaped to go on like an ear, like it's like an earring, but instead of like piercing it, it's more like it encases the ear slightly.
Okay.
It's made of, looks like it's silver or some kind of silver material. And Lyra, you pull out what looks like a gem.
What looks like a gem?
Yeah. When you inspect it like closer, there is a engraving on it, like some kind of sigil.
Okay. She's gonna put it away for later because, like, she knows better than to, like, inspect something that you just stole, like, right out in the public. Like, she knows better than that.
What?
Yeah, she's just gonna she's gonna put it away for later.
Okay.
Yeah.
So as you all head down the streets and everything, the city's definitely very alive and kind of bustling with energy that comes with an event like the carnival showing up. There are several people who are buying fabulous hats. There are children who have like those sticks with the ribbons on them that are running around twirling them. There's music being played in many of the common areas. So it seems almost like today is like a festive day beyond just the carnival, because obviously the carnival hasn't opened yet. But as you get closer to the gate that goes out to the north where the carnival would be set up, you notice a lot of people are kind of like not concerned, but look a little confused. And you start hearing bits of conversation. Aren't they supposed to be closed right now? I thought they closed during the day. Why is it still set up? I don't know. Or maybe we can go get a ticket. Do you want to try? And so some people are kind of heading that direction. Some people are heading back in the gate. They look disappointed. Listening to their conversations as they walk by, you get the idea that the carnival is closed and they didn't get a ticket. And they're just kind of complaining about it. I don't have to stand in line again. Stood there for an hour this morning.
So there's no tickets available, or no one's working?
Do you ask someone?
No, just based off of what we heard.
You get the idea that they were turned away.
Turned away. Okay. Well, I mean, technically they're not supposed to be here right now, so it's technically not working hours. Yeah, that's.
But we should go investigate anyway and see if we can get in.
Yeah. We should. Let's go there.
Umrak
Check it
says, I mean, we have our special inn, right? And he gestures to Twiggy.
I mean, listen. I mean, it was a long time ago. No one ever really gives things away for free. you gotta actually like do the things to earn the tickets. It's a look.
So-
You gotta do the thing.
So do I put my hat on now, or is it later when we have our ticket and go in?
Oh,
you
I mean,
should
it's
put
always
your
good
hat
luck to have
on
a hat
now.
on. Mm-hmm.
Okay. He pulls out this like plush. It's green and it's various shades of green. He puts on his head, and you realize it's kind of frog shaped, but it has like some tentacles coming out of it. It has like these big bulbous eyes. If you want to try and figure out what it is, you could do an Arcana or a Nature check.
Yeah.
I don't think Lyra would care enough,
It's completely fair.
to be honest.
Curious.
Yeah, it looks like a frog to you guys, like a really weird frog,
Sweet.
Tentacle frog.
tentacle frog.
Tentacle frog.
Probably a delicacy in this region.
Probably.
And as you near the gate, you can see on the other side there is, the carnival is all set up. You can see movement inside. Not a bunch as though there were crowds, more like some of the carnies are walking around, taking care of things. You see some animals moving around, and the carnies like leading them around. There's what looks like maybe a unicorn that's just kind of like making its way through the area.
Cute.
Yeah. What's going on with the Ticketmaster?
You see a line of people over by the ticket booth. You could go stand in the line. You can try and walk past them. What would you like to do?
I mean, the right thing to do would be to stand in line. The last thing you want is to be in breach of contract. But
But
I mean, we could just go and Go
Lilith just
check.
kind of just walks ahead like she's supposed to be there and just bypasses the line completely.
Okay. Is everyone
And
going?
expects that everyone's gonna follow. Just expecting.
well,
Is-
my seagull shield is moving way outside of my my protective radius, so I'm gonna zip behind her.
Twiggy, make a perception check.
Perceiving. I'm super good at that. He's the most perceptive.
Most
So perceptive.
Yeah.
Yeah.
You do notice the
10.
Lilith is moving off, and you're like, "Oh, seagulls!" And so you flap and catch up with her, and
Yep.
you're looking around, and you don't notice any seagulls, but you know that they are tricky like that. So
It's true.
Yeah.
It's true. When you least expect them. Why are we in this town? There's so many seagulls by the sea. That's why you don't go by the sea. God. People who organize this carnival should know better.
Dizzy, what are you doing?
I think I'm gonna tag along as well.
'Kay.
Maybe not as close, maybe a little farther behind.
Kind of trail in to see what happens.
Yeah.
Okay. And Lyra?
Lyra's gonna follow too, but she's like, a couple steps removed from them. Large numbers are never inconspicuous, so she's just kind of like, watching them,
Right.
but still following, like anybody would do with a good mark type of thing,
So-
or like a good plan.
So what is your passive perception? And Dizzy, yours as well.
13.
Okay.
11.
All right. So Lyra, you definitely catch some glares from the crowd that's lined up, and like some people lean in, and you hear little bits of conversation that are like, "Where do they think they're going? The line starts back there." Like little conversations like that. But some other people are like, "Oh no, maybe. I mean, look at them. Look at that one that's on the other, like flying around the other one. Maybe they work
They
for the
part of the-
carnival." So like no one like calls you out, but there's definitely like some grumbling. So as you get to the head of the line, a goblin is like, "I'm sorry," and it's very like at this point, he's just it's so like ingrained. "I'm sorry, you can't come in right now. We're having technical difficulties. Come back at dusk for your ticket. Next, please."
show.
I'm sorry, what was that?
Lilith just says we're with the show and we're here to help. And then walks and says, where's the tent we're supposed to go to?
So make a deception check, and as you're saying that, the goblin is like, looks at you, and then looks back and is like, oh, wait. 10. I don't know you.
Lyra is going to step up and be like, what are you talking about? Don't you remember meeting us last night? We bought you so many drinks. Like, and just like, well, maybe you don't remember with all that you drank. We're totally supposed to be here.
He kind of glares at you, and he's like, I didn't have any drinks last night. It was an eventful night, but not that kind of eventful.
So I'm gonna step in, and I'm going to try to charm the goblin and just say, "Don't you know, like, who we are?"
Are you using a...
And I'm using charm person.
Charm person? So 13.
You know we're supposed to come in.
Right?
We are who you are.
Oh, I'm sorry, I didn't see you with them. Yeah, you can totally go in, and I suppose you can go in with him. But yeah, I forgot your name though. What was your name?
Dizzy.
Hi, Dizzy. And he holds out his hand, and he says his name is... I forgot. Hang on. Oh no, where are you? There he is. I'm Nicholas.
Oh, Nicholas.
Oh, Nicholas.
What a sweetheart.
Go ahead on in. Just tell the who are the bouncers? Aren't they ogres or something? I don't recall. Just tell them inside that I let you through.
Thank you, Nicholas.
All right, thank you.
And he
I
turns
will
around and
remember
like there's a
this.
couple other people trying to like sneak behind him, and he's like, You stay there, and he hurries over there. So as you head in that direction, there are a couple of ogres kind of standing there, like leaning on clubs. What are you doing?
Nicholas let us in. We belong here.
Nick, can they come in? And Nicholas looks over. Yeah, they're good. All right.
I like that. We belong here.
You found your calling.
We're here to help with whatever happened last night.
So as you head in, like bits of like memory kind of wash over you, having attended the carnival about 8 years ago. But it's very weird because you obviously weren't there during the day, and so seeing everything in the daylight is kind of weird. Everything looks a little more run down. Nothing is like really being active. There aren't crowds. There's no smell of food. The calliope isn't playing. Like, you definitely remember the calliope playing, and it's just kind of weird. And like there's people just kind of walking around as opposed to like calling out for people to come be involved and stuff. Where do you want to go? I'll actually give you the map in just a moment.
Well, there's probably, I don't know, do they still have the drinking tent? Is there
I
like an
believe
employee
they do have a
lounge?
drinking tent.
Or was it let's see here, Memory of the Witchlight Carnival. Was the drinking section up to the northeast? There's a
You should be
forested
able to see the
area,
map.
I think. Things to the north.
I see
Could
the
I
map.
just shared it in Roll20, so if you want to check that out, there is the Feasting Orchard, but
you...
I have a feeling that the drinking area is within the Feasting Orchard.
Okay, why do you not want to show... Aha! There you are! Yeah, I believe that's where there's food and drink. That is a good place to start. Wait. Yep. Yep. You gotta start with the drink before you get to business. That's how you do business.
So Twiggy takes off that direction.
Follow Twiggy.
Okay.
I know a tree.
Is anyone not following Twiggy? Okay.
I'll tag along for a little bit.
Sounds good.
Lyra's always down for a good drink. Like that's why her and Twiggy get along.
Right.
Kind of.
No one's had their morning beer yet, so.
Yeah.
It's important.
So as you walk through, you pass the Calliope and like several of these colorful buildings that are set up. But again, it's kind of weird because whereas at night everything seems so bright and vibrant, today it just seems run down and sad. And like the people that are working, you see fairies and sprites flying around. You see some animals that are talking to one another. A couple of rabbits, some porcupines. You see like a young treant, so kind of like a sapling, moving around, and he kind of pats some of the talking animals on the head, and he's like, "It'll be okay, don't worry about it." And you pass the carousel, which isn't running, but like all of the horses and the creatures that are on it, they just seem like their paint has faded, and it's just very worn out looking. But you come to the gate, or the like archway that leads into the feasting orchard, and you do see a couple of the carnies sitting there at a table, and they're eating. For the first time, you can kind of smell a little bit of food, some meats that have been cooking, maybe some spices, but no one really seems like they're enjoying their meals as you enter.
We should definitely talk to somebody and at least find out what happened last night. But we should order a beer first.
Yeah. Is there a spot to? Is there somebody dealing with canteen or serving up these employees?
So it doesn't look like any of the business things are open, but there is like a table that has essentially hot trays out that have like food in them, and then there is a human standing up there in these robes that have some stars embroidered on them, and then nearby you see like a pointy wizard's hat that's just kind of like laying in the dirt.
You can't have a wizard's hat in the dirt. I'm gonna go and retrieve that wizard's hat and put it somewhere where it can be, not in the dirt, like on the table.
As you set it down on the table, the human looks at you, reaches up and like pats the top of his head and shakes his head, walks over, picks it up, dusts it off, and puts it back on his head. Good morning.
Good morning.
I don't recall meeting you before.
Doesn't matter. I'm here now. Hello.
Hi.
These are my friends.
Did you just come through the portal?
By portal, if you mean gateway, yes.
Ah, that's why you're in such a good mood. If you're hungry, there's eggs, some sausages, potatoes.
I was thinking more like beer, mead, wine, cider.
We've got a morning cider and a morning beer.
Perfect. Both, please.
It's over there. And he points, and there's like these little kegs under the table.
Excellent. I will go help myself. I'll leave my companions to fend for themselves against the definite presence of seagulls and carnies. While I dip under the table to get that prepped.
So, as Twiggy flies over there and disappears under the table, the rest of you are kind of heading in that direction, yeah?
Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
So you notice this blur all of a sudden whips past you and stops next to the human. And there's this little kind of gnomish looking fellow. Has pointy ears though, like tall pointy ears, and his hair is just like perpetually back, like as though the wind is blowing it back. And he's like, yeah, so Mr. Light, Mr. Witch, they really need to talk to you right now. So if you could just head over that way, that'd be great. Thanks, bye. And he just disappears. And the mage slumps and starts walking off. What do you
I
do?
want to follow the mage,
Okay,
but stealthily.
gotcha. Go ahead and roll me a stealth. Are you going to follow him like all the way to where he's heading?
Yeah, just to kind of see what's going on.
Okay. Do you let anyone else know this, or are you just like going to slip away?
I'll tell Lyra, but that's probably about it.
Okay.
I'm sure it's just like a quiet little like look too type of thing, like not a big like, you know.
I'll grab a beer with Twiggy
Okay.
while they're exchanging looks.
So, Twiggy, there are several mugs that are for your sized people, obviously. Makes them much easier to carry. You can even double fist them if you'd like, because there's several laying around. Lilith, there are also larger mugs for your sized people.
Alright.
And Umrak also goes over and gets a cider. Lyra, you were...
Lyra kind of has like an internal moment of debate, and she kind of like looks longingly at the booth. Is like, and she's gonna follow Dizzy.
Okay.
I think she's gonna like sigh and like look longingly at the morning cider and be like, and, like, you know,
And,
follow with Dizzy.
and do you tell anyone before you head out, or are you just going to, like, slip away?
She's gonna kind of like elbow Lilith on her way by, like a very like subtle, like very subtle head nod type of thing.
Alright.
Like
Lilith will head nod back.
that's like the extent of Lilith and Lyra's friendship. It's just like a series of nods and looks, just like yeah, okay.
All right, so as Twiggy and Lilith and Umrak sit down, or like get their food and drinks and sit down, Dizzy, you're following this fellow.
Oh,
As
do you need
far as
Lyra
you-
to roll stealth too?
I will in a moment. Yeah, go ahead and roll it while I'm explaining. Dizzy, so you follow this person. They don't seem to notice you, but as you're following them, like every so often, you'll notice another carny or animal will just kind of like look over at you, and then go back to what they're doing. Like they don't seem to care you're in here, and if you're in here, then you're probably supposed to be here, right? But that mage never notices you, and he ends up going to the big top, which is kind of in the center, the far back side. But he walks around rather than going into the big top. He walks around to the back. Lyra, so same kind of thing. You're following Dizzy. Dizzy does notice you with his passive, but you know, anyone who notices you, as far as the workers, they don't pay you any mind. Dizzy, do you continue to follow this mage around to the back?
Mm-hmm.
As he walks by, you notice the hat that he's wearing looks like it's like taken off his head by a wind, but you don't feel any wind or anything, and it just kind of floats along and then drops to the ground. He doesn't notice, and he just keeps going. Behind are several colorful wagons. They're like covered wagons, and he walks up to one and knocks, and then enters and shuts the door.
All right. I'm gonna pick up the hat and
Okay.
I'm gonna put it on
Okay.
just for fun, and then I'm gonna kind of try to eavesdrop, but not look suspicious while doing so.
Gotcha. So you just kind of want to go and walk by the wagon he went into?
Mm-hmm.
Okay. And are you holding up for Lyra, or are you still moving ahead of her? They.
I'll wait for Lyra.
Remind me. She or they or Lyra?
She.
She. Thank you.
Yep.
Okay, so holding up for Lyra, right?
Yep.
Lyra, when you get there, what do you do?
Lyra's just gonna kind of like cock her brow at the hat on Dizzy's head and just, let it happen.
It's definitely garish compared to the rest of his clothes. It stands out, but it doesn't seem to stand out too much compared to the rest of the people in the carnival, so...
Right. So she kind of lets it happen, and wherever Dizzy is standing, like, near the wagon, she's gonna, like, go to, like, the other side end, because, like, in case, like, they're not, like, near wherever Dizzy is, she's gonna go there.
Yeah.
And then she's gonna try to look busy, but, like she's supposed to be there doing something, but, like, she's trying to, like, listen.
Go ahead and make me a perception check.
Okay.
So as you go around to the other side, you do notice a large figure. I feel like you've probably also seen bugbears before. So there's a bugbear like on the other side of this area. He's just kind of walking around. Doesn't seem like he notices you, but it might be like a security guard or something that's kind of hanging out back here. And then
Okay.
both you and Dizzy make perception checks to listen in on what's going on inside the wagon.
Ooh, brutal.
Nice. So, Larry, you're like so worried about that bugbear that you're just kind of like paying attention. You like lean in, but then you're like, where'd he go? And so you're watching them. But Dizzy, since you don't see anyone, you just kind of go over there and stand as nonchalantly as possible. But you're able to get up closer, and you definitely hear some voices inside. You hear the voice of the mage, and you recognize it because he was speaking earlier. And he's like, the scrying didn't work. I told you. I've tried to locate the objects. Either they're somehow hidden by magic, or they are no longer on this plane. Well, that just is not acceptable. We need to find them, or we're going to be trapped here. I mean, yeah, that sucks for you, but, like, I am from here, technically, so, does that mean you're quitting? No, that's not what I meant, but I mean, we can all just, fit in here, right? This would be a terrible time for the carnival to arrive. Yeah, that it would. What do you do?
I will relay the information to Lyra.
Ooh.
But I will continue listening if there's anything else that's being said.
Really, the only thing that the topic kind of shifts to opening the carnival this evening and like how that's going to work, and they're just kind of going over some logistics. But nothing more that seems out of the ordinary that you would expect, I guess.
All right, well, I guess we can just head back and talk it over with everyone else.
Okay. Lyra,
Do we know
anything?
what item they're looking for, or
They didn't
they
say.
were just okay?
Is there anything that you'd
Lyra?
like to do to try and figure out what that object is?
Lyra might do something a little stupid.
Okay.
She busies herself, around the bugbear or whatever, but then, like, she's gonna kind of go up to the bugbear, right? And just, like, I mean, she knows how to look tired. She looks perpetually tired, honestly. Like, she just kind of looks, like, perpetually, like, over a lot of bullshit.
Just over it.
Yeah. So she goes up to the bugbear. She kind of, like, runs her hand through her hair, and she's like, last night, last night. I don't know. And like kind of like prying a little bit from the bugbear, like,
Yeah.
didn't that suck? Type of like.
Let's do a persuasion check. And
Okay.
Dizzy, what's Dizzy doing while Lyra's talking to this bugbear?
I don't know. I guess I'll probably knock on the door.
Okay.
Okay.
So we'll do Lyra's conversation first, and then we'll do Dizzy's knock on the door. So Lyra, what do you get? 15?
Mhm.
So he looks at you a little like quizzically. Last night was pretty rough. Yeah. Do I know you?
Oh, yeah. They just more security, And Lyra is a mercenary, so she kind of looks like, she could be like
Yeah.
hired up,
Oh. Well, I'm Burley, and he holds his like extra long arm out to shake your hand.
I was just gonna say that she's Elle. Like, oh, Elle, nice to meet you.
Oh, nice to meet you, El. I don't recommend going near Light or Witch today. They are both in foul moods.
Yeah, I kind of heard what happened. I only caught the tail end of things, That's why they kind of need some more,
Right? Yeah, I guess that makes sense. Well, they lost the watch last night, and so they can't close down the carnival. And Light was super angry about something else, but I don't really know what that was. I'm not privy to that kind of information, I guess.
And Lyra's gonna kind of be like, yeah, Light scares me sometimes, but hopefully we'll find it.
I mean, he's usually in such a chipper mood, and when he gets in this foul mood, I just stay away from him.
Good to know. Good to know. Any other bit of advice for a newbie?
I'm not sure if that new batch of the Morning Cider is good. I've kind of been having some tummy issues this morning, so if you haven't had any already, maybe skip it.
We noted. Nice to meet you, Burley. See you around. Like, Lyra's not gonna, like, stick around.
Yeah.
Like, like...
See you
All
later, El. All right, Dizzy, so you walk up and knock on the door?
Yeah.
Make a perception check for me. Nice. So, as you're kind of walking that direction, you feel the hat blow off your head, but there was no wind.
Hey, I'm gonna grab the hat again and put
Okay.
it back on my head.
All right, put it back on your head. You knock on the door, and it takes a minute. No, it takes several moments. And the human mage opens the door and looks out at you. He's like, "Hey, I have a hat just like that one. What a coincidence! Did you need Mr. Witch for anything?"
I was just curious if there's anything that you needed done. Like, we've already finished our morning tasks.
Oh, he looks back, and behind him you can see like a dark-skinned elf who's very portly. Like, he has kind of like it's almost like a I can't think of what they're called. He has a very swollen face, and like that area underneath is very large.
And a spider.
Goiter, thank you.
A goiter, yeah.
But he's just kind of very hefty guy, and he's going like he's looking at a book and checking numbers off and such. And the human turns around. He's like, "You can probably just go relax for the rest of the day until everything's ready to go tonight."
You just seemed troubled, so I was curious if you needed help with anything in particular.
I keep losing my hat.
Hmm.
Yeah.
Weird.
How could you possibly lose your hat so often?
I don't know.
Well, would you like mine?
Are you sure?
Yeah. I mean, I can always get another one.
Yeah, that'd be great. Thanks.
So I'll give him the hat, and then I'll just leave, I guess.
This one does look so much like my hat, and he puts it on. And he watches. Thanks so much. I'll see you later. And shuts
No
the door.
problem.
Aw.
I love when we make Jamie's DM character. It's great.
So are the two of you heading back to find the others?
Yeah, and Lyra's gonna. She's not gonna tell Dizzy right away what the bugbear said because she kind of wants to wait till they're with everybody.
Gotcha.
So,
Mm-hmm.
Rather than repeating yourself.
yeah.
Gotcha.
Definitely.
So while that's all going on, Twiggy, Lilith, and Umrak, played by me, what are we doing?
Drinking.
I mean, I'm having some of that fine cider.
Okay. And Twiggy, did you have beer or cider?
Both.
Okay. Umrak
Double
had a
fisting.
beer. And so everyone sits down, is drinking. Go ahead and make perception checks, Lilith and Twiggy. And are you sitting around the others, or are you just kind of like off on your own?
No, I'm gonna pop a squat with. There's probably some other Fey-like creatures here. Yeah.
Yeah, so you notice that there is there's a pixie who's sitting nearby. There's a dog, like a pug, that's sitting on the table next to the pixie. They're both sitting on the table. You also notice a dwarf and a halfling.
Oh yeah, I would have waved everybody over to sit with this motley crew of carnies. I'm just gonna pop a squat like I belong there. These are my people.
All right, so you sit down. Excuse me, Lilith, are you joining?
I'm gonna join.
Okay.
Yeah, I'm gonna join.
So between the two of you, as you start drinking, Lilith, you take a drink of the cider, and there's like this weird tang to it that's just not quite right. It doesn't taste bad, but you're just like, that's not right. Twiggy, you don't notice anything. You're just like, glug, 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 glug. It's probably the mixing of the two.
Germ,
Yeah.
Germ.
I'm gonna say out loud, does this seem odd? And set it down
Well,
loud
it's
enough that all the other people can hear.
The pixie looks over at you and like jumps off their table and flies over, waves at Twiggy and like, yeah, that's not right. There's something
Yeah.
something went bad.
I'm
I
gonna
wouldn't
cut
drink that.
myself off and get myself a beer.
Okay. Hey everybody, don't drink the cider or have where'd he go? Someone find Madrick so he can go get another thing of cider. And like people look over at him and just go back to eating. Fine, I'll go do it myself. And he takes flight and flies off.
That's a go-getter right there. One day he'll make it to the top.
So what do you, as you're eating your breakfast and drinking your beers, what are you doing?
I'm gonna ask how everybody survived. Like, how's everybody surviving from last night? Like, how you doing?
So the pug stands up and walks over, like jumps off of their table. Let me double check. Her table. Walks over, hefts herself up onto the bench, and then jumps up on the table, sits down. Last night was so exhausting. I mean, seriously. Everything was going fine, and then those... And she raises, like, she sits on her hind legs and raises her paws and does, like, air quotes with her paws. Those adventurers showed up and ruined everything. Now Light and Witch are just I have never seen them like this, and I'm not sure Light is gonna make it through today to deal with tonight's carnival. Whew.
Oh my god.
What do you mean?
What do you mean? What do I mean? Nice
Well, I
fur,
mean-
by the way.
Right? I
Is
know
that-
it's luscious.
Is that natural, or do you dye that?
Oh, it's totally natural. Totally natural.
I like it.
Thank you. I grew it myself. Yeah. So about Mr. White or Mr. Light. What do you mean not like this?
Oh, he is. I mean, he's just so angry today. Like, I've seen him angry, but like today he is over the top. I suggest staying well clear of him.
Yeah. What? Did people try to unionize again? Was there another attempt to union?
I don't think that's what they were doing. No, there were some adventurers who came in and stole some stuff, and then disappeared.
Stole some stuff?
Yeah, they stole the watch. That's why the carnival's still open. Hello.
Oh. Were they wizards?
I didn't see them.
Where did they disappear to?
No one knows. They just disappeared, like into thin air. It was crazy.
Wait, so they stole the watch and then they just poof.
Apparently. Again, I didn't see it.
Who did?
So apparently Light was there when it happened, and he's the one who told a lot of people at a very loud volume as he was throwing people out of the carnival last night. But I think, some of the big top people were there.
No.
It was like right after the coronation, which he enjoys so much.
It's the
And-
best part.
I know, right? And he enjoys it so much, and they went and they took something from him. I don't even know what it was, because at this point, apparently they already had Witch's watch, but... And then Light lost his shit.
Well, I mean, guys, so that's probably why you're still here, right?
I mean, technically we'd still be here, but the carnival wouldn't be open, because then people can sneak in and cause problems, and I hate it when people sneak into the carnival.
Well, I mean, that's breach of contract,
Right?
obviously. Who would want to do that?
I mean, people are always trying to sneak in, but it's never open during the day for them to sneak in. So now we have to have extra security around.
Well, I mean, we're not doing anything. Maybe we could provide a little bit of muscle and
Yeah.
know-how.
I would go talk to Witch. Don't talk to Light. Steer clear of Light. Seriously. He was very angry last time anyone saw him.
But isn't he gonna be with Light?
He kind of stormed off. Light stormed off.
Oh, well, that's convenient. You know, I'm gonna have another pint and think about it. How about another 2 pints? You want a pint? Let's have a pint.
And as you're like looking back at where the kegs are, you see this pixie like rolling very slowly a new keg out. Like they are like flying and they push and it starts rolling and then they fly back and they push and they're moving with the motion of it. Another keg of the cider is heading that direction.
I
And
will
as-
go assist.
As everyone comes back together, we'll go ahead and call it there for this week. Thanks all for playing. I had a blast. I'm so looking forward to what you guys cause problems. I mean, enjoy in the carnival next week. Anybody have anything they need to throw out there as we end? Anything coming up?
Huzzah for cider!
Cider!
Hooray, cider!
Yes.
All right. Well, thanks everybody for playing, and thanks for watching. If you're watching live this Saturday on the same channel, we get to play Monster of the Week at 2:30 p.m. Eastern. So, except for one player, this is the first time any of us have gotten to play Monster of the Week. So come check us out as we fumble around trying to be monster hunters. It'll be great fun for, well, all of us. We're gonna enjoy it. So we will see you then. Bye.
Guys.